I'm Uncle Joel, and this is Pen and Reel, where I'll take a look at media issues not from the perspective of a fan or consumer, but as a writer and filmmaker. One of my all-time favorite books is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I've read the book multiple times throughout my life, and I got different things from it each time. It's the book that keeps on giving, and I appreciate it just as much now as I did when I first read it 20 plus years ago. And ever since that first read-through, I imagined a big screen adaptation, to see the battle room come to life, the epic bouts and brilliance of Ender's tactics shown to us in excruciating detail. And then 2013 rolled around. Granted, the film adaptation of Ender's Game that we received did a decent job of putting Ender's world on the screen, but it fell flat when it came to story, jumping from moment to moment in a mad attempt to rush through the story rather than live in the beautiful world they had created. Though certain aspects worked for me, the casting of Harrison Ford as Colonel Graff, the emotional final scene of Command School, the overall look of Battle School, the movie was just barely able to live up to my deliberately lowered expectations. I got the movie I expected, not the movie I wanted. The thing that made this so frustrating is that I had a solution to the problem when I first heard the announcement that the movie was actually going forward. After a veritable eternity of development hell. My thoughts haven't really changed much since then, aside from getting a fair bit of refinement. So what solution could there possibly be to do justice to Ender's Game and capitalize on the property by setting up potential for spin-offs at the same time? TV. Make Ender's Game a television series. But be smart about it. Don't just start a Battle School show and let the story overstay its welcome. You could save that for a potential spin-off if you must. No, make Ender's Game a maxi series, one with a set runtime planned out in advance. The story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you don't deviate from that. Quick warning though. Proceed only if you've read the book or at least seen the movie, as I am not going to hold back on spoilers whatsoever. This is your one and only warning. So, I say, make the show 2 seasons. The first episode will be the introduction to Ender's world, potentially ending with his arrival at Battle School. The rest of season 1 will be all about Battle School. Training, learning about the games, delving into the mind game, and rising through the ranks. What the movie did in an hour, we will do over the course of 13 episodes. We end the season with Ender finished with Battle School and returned to Earth, refusing to participate further. The second season would pick up with Valentine having to convince Ender to continue on, and we would get Command School as a significant portion of the second season. But then the last few episodes will explore Ender's disillusionment, his self-imposed exile, the finding of the Formic Queen egg, and his development as the speaker for the dead. The series shouldn't shy away from the difficult stuff. I understand why they didn't want to call the aliens buggers in the movie, but for the TV show version, lean into it. This is all about kids using slang and being cruel. They absolutely would use the term buggers, even if they knew what it means in certain parts of the world. And don't shy away from the violence. The scene at the beginning of the book where Ender beats the crap out of the kid bullying him needs to be portrayed as it is in the book. Ender beats him down so fiercely that the kid will never mistreat him again. Show us that. The fact that it is children being so violent is unsettling, but that is exactly the point. Linger on that. Highlight the unsettling nature. It drives home all the more when the outcome is revealed later on. And the same goes for Ender fighting Bonzo in the shower. Don't tone it down. Make every bit as intense as it is in the book. Literally the only thing that should be different from the book there is that Ender shouldn't be fully nude, because obviously we're not going to have child nudity. And make the show from the kids' perspectives. Don't show us things from the perspectives of the adults. That's one of the things that ruined parts of the movie. I couldn't stand in the movie when they showed Colonel Graff looking at a display of Earth's fleet on the doorstep of the Formic homeworld right before Command School. It telegraphed the truth of Command School, even if not everyone picked up on it. No, keep the adults as these nebulous overlords, guardian angels, distant tyrants, and only show hints of what they think and where they're coming from, like the book did. You can use the dialogue at the beginning of each chapter as a voiceover without ever showing who is talking, and that might be a good way to start each episode. But please, keep this from the perspective of Ender first and foremost, with one exception, which would be Bean. Use Ender's shadow as part of the script. Show us both kids' perspectives united into one narrative. It would be a little tricky, but it could help fill out those episodes without adding unnecessary padding. Give us a true vision of Ender's Game and Ender's Shadow building a world, watching these characters grow together and contrasting when and where they're different. And give us everything. I want the political intrigue of Peter and Valentine's lives as rejected candidates, where Peter creates Locke and Demosthenes to play on the world stage. Give us all of that to show the brilliance and complexities of Ender's siblings, which absolutely helps inform who Ender is. And what's more, it goes beyond informing on Ender. It sets up for spin-offs. If the show does well in the fully contained 2 seasons, you can move on to do 2 spin-off series. It should be fairly obvious to fans of the books what those series would be. Ender's saga of Speaker for the Dead, Xenocide, and Children of the Mind, detailing the political... Ender's saga, having him travel the universe in search of a new home for the Formics, and Bean's Shadow saga, detailing the political strife that results from the end of the Formic War and the gradual rise of Peter as the hegemon of Earth. You would get 2 very different parallel stories to come out of it, and if they succeed, they could lead into a final maxi-series that unites Ender in Exile and Shadows in Flight, as well as the as-of-yet unreleased Shadows Alive. If they went this route, I believe they could include a great deal without having to leave things out, or rush through things as they did in the movie. I want to watch Ender gradually rise through the ranks, and I want to spend a great deal of time in the battle room, not just a few matches and then moving on. I want the emotional turmoil, the build-up. I want them to truly earn the discovery of the Formic Queen egg on the planet that reflects the Mind Game, because Ender has been exploring the Mind Game for 2 seasons. This would also serve to give more characters development and screen time, such as Petra, Bean, and the rest of Ender's core group. Give them their due, and people will be eager to see what happens to them in the spin-offs. And maybe, just maybe, they could do a 3rd spin-off series. I would be less eager for this one, but if done right, it could still be good. And something for them to capitalize on, at the very least. We could always use more battle room, so what if they did a series all about the battle school? The formation of the school leading up to Ender's Game, or what happened to the battle school after the Formic War had ended. Apparently there was a book called Children of the Fleet that explored this, but I would want to show in keeping with the tone of the others in the series. And possibly even a 4th, following the Aaron Johnston books detailing the First and Second Formic Wars. Or they could make movies out of these ones, since the groundwork has been set up in the preceding series. And really, it's as quote-unquote simple as that. Certainly there would need to be a great attention to detail, hiring strong actors, getting a director/showrunner that cares about the source material, and so on. But if they did so within this framework, we could finally get the Ender's Game that the fans have been wanting for the past 30 years. But what do you think? Can you see Ender's Game working as a TV show instead of a movie? How do you feel about limited run maxi series like I mentioned? Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And until next time, this is Uncle Joel saying, stay tangible.